Okay, welcome back, and we are proceeding with our Jurisprudence 1 discussion, and we are going to look at the concept known as Ubuntu, or the Ubuntu bulamu and the law, or what you can call, or what you can refer to as African jurisprudence. So with Ubuntu bulamu and the law, the word Ubuntu is an African word majorly that originates from South Africa. Basically, it has Ubu and Ntu. Ubu and Ntu. So you're going to find that it is mostly comprised with the people, or the people who originate from the Bantu tribe, the Bantu tribe, Ubu, Ntu. For example, the Baganda, the Banyoro, the Bachiga, the Baluli, the Banyankole, among others. Those are the Bantu speaking tribes. They always have that word Ntu. So basically, the Ubuntu bulamu, when you hear bulamu, it is a Ugandan word, or it originates from South Africa. Basically, bulamu means like acting in good, you treat yourself or you treat others justly. So basically, in jurisprudence, we see this, that Ubuntu bulamu, this is the way of acting justly, fairly, respect of humanity, respect of culture. Basically, you do good to others, respect them, respect humanity, respect their religion, respect culture, among others. So basically, we are going to see that Ubuntu bulamu, initially, before the coming of these colonialists who are to bring us the different laws, the people in Africa by then used what we call the Ubuntu bulamu. Is this thing that I'm doing affecting the other? Is it right to the society? Does it respect culture? Does it respect humanity, among others? So that's the way they lived, meaning that the people during that era, they lived in peace and harmony because of the concept of Ubuntu bulamu. However, we are going to see that it had to develop, and we see the case of S versus Mukwananye of South Africa. S versus Mukwananye tries to further explain the concept of Ubuntu bulamu, and it talks much about it. However, when we go back to our jurisprudence, we have to know the importance of Ubuntu bulamu. One, it helps in helping culture, promoting religion, respect of human rights, dignity, equality, among others. That is the main importance of the Ubuntu bulamu. So when we go to its manifestation means that where has it been showed in Uganda, applicability or manifestation of Ubuntu bulamu in Uganda. So we go back to there is no law in Uganda. That's what I can tell you. There is no law in Uganda that specifically speaks about Ubuntu bulamu or uses the word Ubuntu bulamu. However, we see the principles of Ubuntu bulamu, such as justice, fairness, morality, respect of human rights, among others, being manifested or seen in the various laws or principles in Ugandan law. For example, I begin with the Constitution. The Constitution of 1995 does not in any way or the other talk about Ubuntu bulamu, but you begin by its directive number 24, objectives, and directive number 24 that talks about respect of human right, culture. It respects culture, objective number 24. So that one is trying to show that Ubuntu bulamu is there because Ubuntu bulamu by nature, it deals with the respect of one's culture. So when we talk of equality, Article 21, Article 33, Article 32, all of those talk about equality. Article 21, everyone is equal before the law, regardless of his sex, nature, status, among others. Article 33 deals with the respect of rights of women. Women are equal with men. When you go to Article 32, respect of rights of marginalized groups, or these groups of people. When you also look at Article 31, equality between men and women during, before, and after marriage. All that brings about equality. Look at the various cases such as Best Kemigisha versus Komuntare. All of those are trying to bring in the aspect of equality, which is a manifestation of Ubuntu bulamu. There is the aspect of forgiveness. So Ubuntu bulamu is majorly concerned with forgiveness. Initially, the Africans used to forgive each other. For example, if a person from my clan killed another from another clan, they would sit down and harmonize as elders and decide maybe to send a person from our clan to go to the other clan and work in regards to compensation for that one who has lost their life. So even today we see that there is compensation, forgiveness instead of vengeance, instead of revenge. That's why you see that even one of the aim of the law or the constitution under article, or the judiciary under article 126, it has the aim to promote reconciliation, not vengeance. We have seen that in many cases, such as Matthew Kanyamunyu versus Uganda. There was the aspect of forgiveness. You read the case of Matthew Kanyamunyu versus Uganda. Now, we also go to the respect of one's right to property. Remember, a person has a right to own property. So today, the state cannot take away one's property unless it has adequately compensated that person. This has been seen in cases such as Osotrako versus Attorney General, the cases of Shah versus Attorney General. We see it in Article 26. All that is trying to manifest the aspect of Ubuntu bulamu and the law, which we are seeing in Uganda. So we go back to the aspect of equality. You go to Section 6 of the Mortgage Act. Read the case of Alice Akirol versus Global Capital Save. Section 6 of the Mortgage Act basically says that while a partner or maybe a person is mortgaging a property that is matrimonial, the spouse needs consent. It brings about spousal consent in mortgaging family property. You look at Section 39, capital A of the Land Act, what we call consent while selling family land. Today, a spouse needs to consent before there is sale of family land. Look at the inheritance in intestate death. A child, whether legitimate or illegitimate, can inherit. Look at the case of Kajubi versus Kabali. Initially, the law was clear. Where you are illegitimate, you could not inherit. But legitimate is a person or a child born within lawful marriage. Illegitimate is a child born outside lawful marriage. So today, when you look at inheritance in succession matters or in intestate succession basically means you've died without leaving a valid will. So in Kajubi versus Kabali, we see that today in Uganda, even whether you are illegitimate or you are legitimate, you can still inherit property of your deceased father or mother by virtue of equality. That is trying to show Ubuntu bulamu and the law equality. You look at the aspect of no return to bride price. Today there is still no return to bride price, and that was decided in the case of Mifumi versus Attorney General. Remember, they were tasking women to return bride price in case the marriage did not go well. So Mifumi versus Attorney General has tried to silence that by saying no, where a woman is married and things don't go well, there should not be returned to bride price, my brother. All that is trying to bring out the aspect of the good coordination, the good relation, which we also know as the Ubuntu, Bulamu, and the law. We go to the aspect of matrimonial property. Today, a spouse or a wife, whether contributed or did not contribute to the property, which is matrimonial, he is entitled to a share, whether he directly contributed financially or did not directly contribute financially. That has been seen in Julius Rabinumi versus Hope Habimbisomo, that even if you did not contribute, where you are a wife, you have contributed indirectly, supply of maybe labor, producing, washing clothes, you are entitled to a share, my brother. There are very many ways through which Ubuntu Bulamu has been manifested in Uganda. All those have been talking about are the different ways. Just note them down, explain them. Then we have to know that even if Ubuntu bulamu is there or is emphasized, there are some challenges or causes to its failure. Why is it failing to be manifested? So we have to know the different things that are failing Ubuntu bulamu. First of all, corruption. There is a lot of corruption today. The government is corrupt, everyone is corrupt, meaning that one is not providing for fairness, justice, morality. Corruption is a failure or is failing Ubuntu bulamu. To greed. Some people are very greedy. They want to take away people's land for free without paying them because they have connection. Greed is also becoming a failure to what we call the Ubuntu bulamu. Capitalism. Initially, when you go back to the ATS, that is the African Traditional Society, the people owned property as a community. But today, the aspect of capitalism, meaning that there are the rich and the poor. So meaning that these people can never be on the same level. And that is beating the aspect of equality. They listen to the rich compared to the poor. So that is beating what we call Ubuntu bulamu. There is what we call overstaying power. Overstaying power. When you overstay in power and you're a leader, you are failing other people to get chance to stand. which is one of the key elements of Ubuntu bulamu. So that is also becoming a failure of Ubuntu bulamu. State interference in judicial matters. Remember, when you go back to Article 128, the judiciary must be independent in exercising its matters. But today we see that there is state interference in judicial matters. Remember, when you go back to the arms of the government, there is what we call the judiciary, legislature, and executive. The military, the police fall under what we call the executive. Now, when the judiciary gives bail to someone and the military comes and stops or sabotages everything, it has interfered. That is, the state is now interfering. There is what we call militarism. Militarism, killing people. Everything is decided on gunpoint. That one is killing what we call Ubuntu bulamu. Poverty. People are very poor, my brother. So when the people are very poor, it is again killing the aspect of Ubuntu bulamu. There is the aspect of the repugnance clause. The repugnance clause that was brought in 1902 Order in Council, it was a clause that was brought to test the validity of the various customs in Uganda. So remember, one of the key points of Ubuntu bulamu is respect for culture and customs. So when you bring such clauses such as repugnance to test the validity of our cultures, meaning that you are trying to kill the concept of Ubuntu bulamu and the law. I thank you. Thank you for listening.